Hey, so let's jump right in. My name's Lucy, or Lucia. I'm from Germany, and I did an exchange year in 2018, 2019. And I beg you, please don't take me as one of the people who makes their exchange year or time abroad their whole personality, because that is definitely not me. Sometimes I forget that that's a part of my life. But I'm someone who's really nostalgic and I love to journal. So I recently asked myself the question, how did this time really affect me? What are my key takeaways? What are my life lessons that I took from this really just intense year? And whether you're someone who's interested in exchange, maybe you're already, have it all set. And yeah, I know in that time you're scouring the internet for anything you can find about exchange because you're just so passionate and excited. Maybe you've been on exchange like myself, and maybe you can agree on these things or just kind of think about it for yourself. How has this time really impacted you? Because a ton of people tell you this is the year that will change you as a person the most. You're going to grow the most in this year. You're going to live through the emotions of a 5 year span in just one single year. So, yeah, people tell you you're going to come out the other end a whole other person. So, I'm here to test if that's true. And please, please ask me anything you want to know. I'm not gonna get into my details of my exchange here. Maybe you're gonna hear some bits and pieces in my stories, but yeah, for all the rest, I'm just gonna, stick to my lessons and my what I took away from my exchange year. So the first thing is everybody tells you you're going to be so much more confident after the exchange year. And in my case, that is true. I feel like for every single person, this might be true because you just did something you thought was impossible as just a tiny little kid. And I don't care what anybody says. At 16, you feel so grown up, but you're not. I think my parents were crazy for letting me do this at 16. I thought I was crazy. How did I? Wow. Okay. So at 16, you're just gonna go fly to a whole new country, live with total strangers, make total new friends, invent yourself, try new things, and you think you're not gonna go out there more confident? Let me tell you, you are. And in my case, it was that I didn't only grow confident, in my body image or in the way I look. I grew more confident from within. I had so much self trust, and I've kind of got like two or three little examples for this. So I knew, right? I was gonna live with strangers and make new friends. So this knowledge before I even went on exchange, it kind of set me up to be more out there, to be more engaging with people and to meet more friends even when I was still living in Germany. Just the knowledge of, oh my gosh, this is going to be a real challenge in the United States for me. I might get some practice in. It made me more confident before I even went on exchange. But during my exchange year, I kind of noticed that I don't stress about things so much. I don't overthink it. I don't ask myself, oh my gosh, should I really try it? Am I going to be good enough? Or will I fail? Will I look stupid? I kind of just did it. And one example for this is I wanted to bake my host dad a cake for his birthday. And in Germany, there's this thing, it's called Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, Black Forest cake. And it's a multiple tiered cake with layers and buttercream, and I've never done something like this. In fact, I've never even really baked anything else than like a sheet cake or muffins. But I didn't even really think about it. I was like, oh well, that's a cool cake to make. I'm just gonna do it, and I did it. It was amazing. Up until this day, I don't know how I did it, but I just baked the freaking cake. I didn't doubt myself. Whereas now, several years later, I would be like, oh, isn't that maybe a little too hard for my skills? Then, number two, I was just taking part in the TV news show without a single doubt in my mind, and I had so much fun doing it. Here you can see some snippets. It's also used in the Mexican traditional holiday called the Day of the Dead. Anyone interested in trying out for baseball must attend a meeting this Friday, so tomorrow. There will be a UNICEF meeting this upcoming Tuesday in room 254. You will learn about fundraising projects to help the world's children. Please come on by if you're interested. Then another example is my host family had this tradition of doing a half marathon every year in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. So they asked me, of course, well, you're gonna come with us to North Carolina. Do you also want to run the race? And I was like, okay, if you're gonna do it, I wanna. Yeah, why not? So they ordered the bib for me, the starting number, the start. I don't know. I'm not a runner. I'm not even a sporty person. So I don't even know how the hell I didn't freak out. But the time got closer and closer. So 3 weeks before the race, I started to be like, okay, I might just have to train. So I jumped on the treadmill 2 or 3 times a week just for 3 weeks, because I let it slide, and went on a jog outside. I was like dying, to be honest. It was so hard. So I had like a little bit of training in. And when the time came, I just did the half marathon. It was more of a walk instead of a run because I took like 3 hours. But I had fun. Of course, it hurt a little, but it was fun and I just did it. You know, right now I would be like, what's the point in running a half marathon? I don't need the medals because I got medals. And I'm not a runner. I'm gonna embarrass myself. I'm gonna come in last. I wouldn't even consider doing it. Back then, I just did it. So my just trust in myself that okay, if I'm gonna set my mind to it, I can do it. Is just astronomically ever since then. So you can expect on leaving from your exchange year a changed person in terms of self confidence and self trust. And I think that is something nobody can take away from you. Because you have lived through challenges, so you can do it. Another really big learning is about the topic of friendships. And this is kind of separated in friendships that you find, new friendships that you find, and friendships at home. Because I know a lot of people consider not even going on exchange because they're so scared of losing the friends that they have at home. And I'm not trying to be mean here, but that's so stupid. Friendships are gonna change. Of course, the friends that you have at school right now are the only ones you ever had, but in the course of your whole life, you're going to find new friends in university, in your apprenticeship, in your job, in your adult life. Friendships will find you. And everybody that I know that's my age right now, they say, yeah, friendships from school, they've faded away. So why stress about it if it's going to happen anyways? I know it's kind of sad, but that's kind of the way it is. Sorry to tell you that. So go live your dream and don't worry about the people that stay at home. You're gonna live through amazing memories, so are they, and you don't have to have FOMO on that. So that's my take on friendships at home. You're gonna make new ones, you're gonna make even better ones. And don't worry about leaving them behind. The true ones will support you and, love your journey with you. As for the friendships that you will try to make in your new host country, that's a little tricky because, finding friends is always hard. I mean, you are going to find friends, but it's going to be hard. I, a little spoiler, didn't have that many friends, but I made up for that in my beautiful connection with my host family. And still, I had fun people to talk to in class and acquaintances. And one thing that I learned from there is it's so ingrained in my heart, this lesson, and it's about friendships that never really happened. So there was this girl named Lauren in my school, and she was an angel. Ever since the first time I saw her, I didn't have like a girl crush, but like a friend crush. I wanted to be her friend so badly. She was pretty, she was smart. She once gave me a compliment on my speech, on how I was so fluent and blah. And we had 2 classes together. Yet I could never really make myself stand up and go talk to her, ask her what her hobbies are, if we maybe want to hang out together. I never had the guts. Sad for me, right? But it kind of gets worse because at the at the very last school day, we were put into like a group project and had to talk about stuff, and we hit it off. We hit it off so well. And she told me that her grandparents were actually Jewish Germans and fled Germany in the World War II era. and she would have loved to talk to me about how German life is right now, and I missed out on a friendship. She said that she was kind of scared to talk to me as well, but she wanted to be friends and never really had the guts. So I missed out on a friendship. I missed out on really serious, important talks that we could have had, enlightening talks, even, just because I, wasn't brave enough to go talk to her. So I really took away from this. If somebody strikes your eye, as okay, maybe we could hit it off, maybe we could be great friends, just go up and talk to them. Not like, hey, you want to be friends, but you know what I mean. Just go do it. I'm getting the shivers because how sad is that we constantly miss out on beautiful connections because we're too scared for the rejection. Lauren, I still think of you. Okay, next. Back when I went on exchange, a lot of girls kind of were worrying about gaining weight. I don't know if that's still a big topic, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents to it. I did gain weight. I gained around 6 to 8 kilograms in the span of a year, and it was because, of course, the food. Everybody knows, the Americans kind of eat different, and they don't move as much in their daily life, and that all led to me gaining weight. But it didn't affect me. It didn't affect my self confidence. In fact, I didn't even really notice because the scales, they're in pounds, and I don't even know how much pounds and kilograms are. So I just stepped on the scale. I saw a number, and I was like, okay, I don't even know what that means, to be honest. So when I got back home, through my normal diet, through my normal movements, riding my bike to school or going on walks more often, not driving everywhere with a freaking car, my weight came back to normal and, fast as that. So don't stress about it. Just have the most amazing food you'll ever have in the States and everything's going to be fine. Kind of along with that theme, if anybody's worried about their accent or that they're not gonna really understand English as well as they thought, I totally get you, but don't worry about that as well because at first, I mean, when I first started hear my host family talking, I was like, oh my gosh, they're so fast. They have like kind of an accent. I don't know. But after I think 2 hours, I've gotten used to it, and they even complimented my English and said that I didn't even have an accent. So I think that for every English level, you're going to improve so much and you're going to, it's just going to work out because you're constantly listening to it and it's going to stick. So don't worry about that. As a last thing, or as one of the last things, I don't know if I'm going to come up with more, is one life lesson that I got or that I took from my exchanger is the power of human connection. It's kind of crazy to think that you grow so close and intimate with a group of strangers called your host family over the course of 1 year. I remember that after 1 week, we were already so close. We had inside jokes, and they knew things about me my own parents didn't even know because they asked stuff that my parents didn't ask, or something. And I can tell you, your host family is going to know you like no other person because during your time with them, you are a whole new person, a different person than you've ever been in your life. And this connection of proximity and closeness, it's kind of so nice to know that you're going to find people that love you and that care for you all over the world if you just try. And this power of human connection, it kind of opened my eyes and my heart, and I don't even really know how to explain it. But one thing that I think might be a kind of cool example is after my exchange year, I didn't see my host family for 3 or 4 years until I visited them. And instantly, I was transported back to the younger version of myself. They remembered, oh, you don't like the sugar in your tea, do you, honey? Or, oh, are you still that into spice? We can add a few more extra chili peppers into the stew. Or, oh, what's about that friend of yours that you had? Is she still doing this in this program? And are you still friends? And they know things about you that you forgot. And it's so cool that different versions of yourself can exist in different frames of time and geographical location. I just think that's kind of a thought worth having, and I could probably dig deeper. I feel like those are the things that I wanted to kind of cross off in this video. I um I hope that you can take something from it. And I know when I was an exchange student about to go on my exchange year, I was really just soaking up every single thing I could. So maybe this is a kind of a new perspective for you to have. And if you did an exchange year yourself and kind of stumbled across this video, I mean, I don't even know if anybody stumbles across this video, but I just hope so. I would be so interested if you can relate to any of my points, or maybe you can go really think about your own experience. What is your key life lesson, key takeaway that you took from your exchange year? And I'd be so interested. As for all the questions you might have, I'm super down to answer anything. And yeah, maybe there will be a part two, but honestly, I don't want to make my whole account on this topic. I like to do vlogs mostly just for memory keeping. And yeah, but if there's anything I can talk upon more, because there's a lot of stories, I'd be happy to, because this actually was kind of fun to talk to you. I've gotten kind of cozy, I've got my little mic, just kind of, basking in memories. I love that stuff. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me know your thoughts. See ya.